Our candidate conversations continue this morning, and we are going to be visiting with our second ward candidates. We have Lynn Mcgraw, Cyara, Peterson with us in the studio. Do want to mention quickly, had a couple of quick notes from Andre Ruby. He's not able to be with us. He said he basically is handling an illness, is what he mentioned, and he's canceled his campaign activity for this week. And that's as far as we know what's going on there. But Andre could not be with us this morning. I do want to make sure you understand that he was invited. He planned to be here until just a day or two ago, and we got word that he wasn't going to be able to make it. But we'll talk to Lynn Mcgraw and Cyara Peterson. Didn't really get a chance to flip a coin to see who goes first. So, Sarah, since you get the first chair, give us a quick introductory statement about Cyara Peterson.
All right. My name's Cyara Peterson. I'm 32 years old. I was born and raised here in Clinton. 4 children within the community. I primarily not only reside, but completely involved within the second ward. I deliver papers with my children every morning, and I've been going to council meetings for about the last 2 years religiously. I'm currently on the Neighborhood Improvement Committee, and we do a lot of working on revitalizing areas and how we can spruce them up, whether it be from the housing or down to just landscaping. We have a lot going on that committee.
Lynn Mcgraw, give us a quick introductory statement.
Well, thank you, Dave, for letting us get our story out and what we feel is important as far as the council. Again, my name is Lynn Mcgraw. I am a lifelong resident of Clinton. I went to Clinton High School, graduated from Clinton High School. After I graduated, there was no way that my family could help me go to college. And if I got a job, I could help pay some room and board to help mom and dad. Well, years later, I decided that I really wanted to get more education. I went to Clinton Community College and got my degree there and decided that wasn't enough either. And then I went to Mount St. Clair, graduated there. Again, decided that wasn't enough, studied for the CPA exam and passed it. And I worked, before I did that, I worked as a bookkeeper and I worked in some tax offices. And then after that, I went to work in, I did work up at what used to be Clifton Gunderson. And at one point in time, I left there and went to the hospital, and I was the financial analyst, and primarily my duties were budget and the financial statements on a monthly and yearly basis. I've always liked doing accounting. My husband used to say, because I belonged to a lot of different organizations and I was always treasurer of them. And Jim used to say I was treasurer of the whole world, but that's not necessarily true. I had 2 sons, one which has passed away, and I have 3 stepchildren from Jim, one in Arizona and one in Texas, which I'm still very close to, and a stepson over in Prophetstown. And I've been on the council. This will be my 3rd run. The first 2, I did not run against anyone, so this is new for me. I really get a lot of satisfaction of being on the council. When Jim passed away, I thought about maybe resigning just because it was something that was so unexpected and I was kind of in a turmoil. But I realized that I really did want to stay with it, and I'm very glad that I did, and I hope to get voted in again.
Okay. Lynn, first question, what do you see in your vision of what is the role of a council member?
One of the things I feel is the most important is to listen to the people. Whenever I get a phone call, I make sure I look into it, and I even make the effort to go see them so they know I'm looking into it. And I've even gone into other wards just because they've called me. And evidently they were looking for help, not meaning that the other council person hasn't, but maybe they just know my name better than somebody else's. I don't know, but I feel like that's very important. I feel what I bring to the council is my finance background. I am on the finance committee, and I'm also the liaison with the Humane Society. I think finance is a very important piece of the council because we need to keep the levy down, and our budget is very, very important. The new administrator, Matt, they've really condensed the time we spend on the budget. At first year or two, it seemed like we were working on that budget for weeks. And yes, we still do a few weeks, but it just seems like it's a lot more streamlined. But I think that's very important to keep things so people are happy with, or not necessarily happy, but they're okay with what the levy is.
Sarah, what's your view of the role of the council? And so too says, with that, what do your personal experience bring to the council?
I feel like the role of a council member is to work for the community. We are your voice when it comes to a city level. We work for the constituents. Constituents should come to us with issues regarding things that are going on within their community, in their ward, and within the entire city. As when it comes to a financial background, I do not have that same background. I do own my own business. I have been a cosmetologist for 14 years, so I am aware of the tax rules and regulations with that. Not nearly as qualified as Miss Lynn Mcgraw here for that. I do feel that I can bring the prominency to the community as I am currently active in all of my ward. Everybody, you can't miss this hair anywhere. Everybody sees me. They're always stopping me, talking to me about things. I have constant messages coming in. I'm able to relay that. I do that footwork for the help, or for the community to able to help them bring their voices up to the council.
Sarah, we've been asking candidates, of course, one of the topics that's grown in the recent past few years is kind of lumped together, coming to the BNS, building neighborhood services, abandoned buildings, nuisances.
Right up my alley.
Increasing issues there. I know you mentioned neighborhood improvement committee. What can be done? Can things be done quicker? What's being done? Are you satisfied with how the city is addressing kind of those issues?
Currently, I feel we could be a little bit more progressive. We are being forced to be reactive to this issue at this point. We need to be proactive at the same time as being reactive. Reactive is not helping us. Our demolition list, our abandoned houses, they are growing, ever growing by the day. We're adding more. Currently, we have 15 houses that are costing us over $90,000 that are due to be down by October 31st. 2 of them have been taken down so far. I am very on the heels of the contractors that were able to get these bids that we as community are paying for. It's coming out of our tax revenue to get these down. They are a safety hazard. They're a safety hazard not only to us as a community, but they're a safety hazard to our fire department, our police department. We all are informed of the subculture that's inhabiting a lot of these homes. That is a serious issue for our community, and I think it needs to have some more light brought to it.
Then what about the issue of the abandoned buildings, the nuisances? City doing enough?
Well, as to whether they're doing enough, I think there are probably a lot more that can be done, but there's always the issue. We can only budget so much money for that. And when these houses get abandoned, we can't just take them if the people are still paying the taxes on them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these houses are being bought up at tax sales by out of the area corporations, and what they plan on doing with them, I'm not really certain. But until we can actually buy them, there's not too much we can do about that. After we buy them, there's a lot of attorney fees getting that need to be involved. And then there's the tearing down. It's not good. It's hard to it costs a lot of money to tear these houses down, and then we have to be careful about things like asbestos. If there's asbestos, that costs us a lot of money. And then there's also buildings that need maybe to be torn down, but sometimes you have something called a common wall, and you can't just tear that building down until you know whether you're going to take the next door business's wall away from them. And that has happened in town. So there's always, yes, we need to do more. In 2016, we did 10. In 2014, in 2017, we did 14. And in 2018, we did 20. Wait a minute, 16. So all total, we have done 40. But, and yes, there are a lot more, but it's, sometimes there's other criteria you have to follow.
And continuing with what she was saying, the asbestos removal is a huge issue in these houses. We're looking at an average of $10,000, some as little as $6,000, some are up to almost $15,000 to demo each house. And not all houses need to be demoed. I will openly admit that. They can be rehabbed, and we have lead abatement grants, the pilot grant through the ECIA that is working with us to actually rehabilitate a lot of them also.
Lynn says, are some of those houses, the second ward kind of covers what many people kind of, the central part of the community, yeah. Are a lot of these houses in that area? Is that
Yes.
why you get a lot of the input on this, Cyara
Yes.
and Lynn? The second ward have a lot of the houses that are on the demolition list, or should be, or could be?
There are a lot of houses in first and second ward.
Majority of the ones on the current demo list are in second ward. That is, I live in the flats. That's my backyard. That's why I look out for it. I'm there. My children see it. My whole family sees it. That is my backyard, literally.
Cyara, back to you. Says, talk a little about the time commitment to be on the council. What's your view of what it takes?
It takes a lot.
How committed you mentioned how busy you already are.
It takes a lot.
Can you fit the time commitment for the council
Oh, yes.
in there?
The last 2 years, I have been active within my community. I attend every city council meeting. I was appointed to the Neighborhood Improvement Committee shortly after it starting my council meetings. I am frequent with the fire department, the police department. I am involved. The dispatchers know my name, my voice. I'm always involved. This has become such a priority for me because my children see it, that I want to change that primarily. I live there. It's not going to go anywhere. This is my home. If nothing changes, we got to face it. We have to face it head on, and I'm willing to do that.
Lynn, what about the time commitment?
Well, a lot of people think there's 2 meetings a month. Well, that's not so. Yes, there's 2 council meetings, but there are other meetings. Like I said, I do belong to the Finance Committee meeting. I need to attend the Humane Society's meetings. When we get the package, there's always a lot of reading in the package. And in order to be knowledgeable at the meetings, you need to read that package and know what's going on. If there's things in the package that you're not familiar with or that you have questions on, then you need to take the time to get those questions answered so that you can make a good decision at the council meetings. I have been able to do carry the load the last 2 years since Jim been gone. I feel as though that I have done my best to be knowledgeable on as much as I can, and I will continue if I get reelected.
I want a packet.
Yeah. Lynn?
I want a packet.
Yeah. What about the issue of the few years ago the city council approved, I guess, an ongoing street road improvement plan, been in place for a few years, allocates a certain amount of money. Are you ever continuing that kind of where it's at and get the streets improved? Obviously maybe if there's more money allocated there, what's your view of the street improvement plan that's underway?
A few years ago, we budgeted a number of dollars for just streets, and Jason has been doing a really good job getting those streets done. And we have a list of different streets as to when they will be done. I know that Stockwell Lane needed to be done really bad, and that was finally on the list for this year. And I know they believe they started this week on Stockwell Lane. This year, we even budgeted more money because of Stockwell Lane and I think it was 8th Street or something, that we needed a little bit more money to get the things done that needed to be done. But we will continue to do that. And part of the reason the streets got so bad is there was a number of years where no street work was done, not in Jason's time period or my time period, but there was a period of time when streets were kind of being ignored. Well, that can't happen, and I think that once we get the streets done, we will just turn around and start making any repairs that need to be again, so, and keep up on it.
Cyara, what about the street plan the city's got underway?
It has been a battle, I feel, for them because of the funding. There has been a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of back work that should have been done like Lynn said, many years ago. This stuff was neglected, and then I'm glad to see that it's happening. One area I feel could have maybe done a little bit differently was Cameron Oaks area. They did the front half of it off of Harts Mill Road and the immediate couple blocks, but now the back half, where we're all getting runoff, it's destroying the roads. Well, now you're going to have to drive all these big trucks back over your fresh new pavement back to this back area to fix it. We could have maybe done a little bit more diligent that way and worked from the back outwards. That was my input on that.
Sarah, talk a bit about the relationship you think the city should have with other entities, such as particularly the school board, the county supervisors, other entities in town. What kind of relationship should the city have?
We all need to work cohesive. Everything that happens from the county board of supervisors down to school board, down to CRDC, ECIA, which is a higher level, all of them need to work together because it all affects every single person within our community. We need to promote each other. We need to voice our concerns. We need to work together so we can keep things streamlined and in line for how it needs to work the most proactive way to get things done.
I think we've been meeting a lot more with the school board and the county and Clinton, and I think we deal with them also when it comes to budget, and a lot of times we have to watch what our budget is because of what maybe the budget is for the school board, because sometimes they may have to raise theirs a little, and we want to keep the taxes in line so that we aren't raising taxes. I think that we're all working together pretty well these days.
You mentioned budgets, Lynn. What do you say? Whichever one of you is elected is going to be working on budgets here. You meant that in a matter of starting in it's a few weeks, in a very short period of time. What would you view as Lynn Mcgraw's budget priorities going into this next cycle of budget preparation? Do you have some priorities you'd like to see, or you developed over the years?
I think there's probably only so much money that you can get, and I think we've done a good job of making sure we continue keeping the street budget so that we continue to fix the streets. You end up with wages. Each department submits their budget, and then when it's all put together, then you have to maybe say, okay, we're not within what we wanted budget to be, so you're going to have to cut something out a little bit here, a little bit there. There's only so much money that you can get and still keep your taxes in line for the city of Clinton.
Is there any budget priorities you'd like to see
As
if
Lynn
you're
was
elected?
saying, there's one pie. Everybody wants a piece. We have to decide which piece goes where. My priority would be the dilapidation of our housing.
Is there, what about, we ask this question, fill in the blank. I'm proud of what in the city? Tell us.
I'm proud of
what
our
is.
community members. We have a lot of amazing community members. We have organizations left and right that have volunteers that need more. We need more. We have every sort of group, from a higher class that, enables and focuses on that, down to underprivileged children. We have everything. We just need to focus on them and bridge that gap between those organizations and our community. We need to bring those together and make them work together.
Lynn, what is your being proud of?
I'm very proud of this town. I hear people criticize it at times, but to me, it's a nice place to live. Beautiful. And ironically, I have a neighbor that has a condo in Denver and a beach house in Carolina, and they bought the house across the road from me because they bought it for a vacation home. And when I tell people that, they're just amazed. But I think sometimes the people that come into Clinton see the qualities of and quantities of things that we have that sometimes our own residents have blinders on. And when you look at what Clinton has, we have Eagle Point Park, we have Riverfront, we have a ballet company. Cities our size don't usually have those things. We have a professional symphony, and for cities this size, that's very unusual to have those things. And I think we have a lot of things that people just don't see and realize that we have here.
They don't know about it. We definitely need to get the word out about a lot of the positive things we have, and not just that we already have, but the things that are happening. We have great things happening. Every organization, the Parks and Rec, is making amazing strides to change that. We have a beautiful riverfront. We need to emphasize it. We need to draw more people to that. At the same time, we need more infrastructure. We need more economics. There's a lot of things that we need, but we're doing great, and we're on a proactive ball rolling on that mission.
When Cyara spoke about some of the people in Clinton, there's one organization that I'd like to, Rotary did a fantastic job on the lodge, but there's another organization that I don't think gets credit for what they do, and that's Kiwanis. Every Saturday there are people from Kiwanis that are downtown picking up the debris, and you see them every single Saturday, and I don't think they get thanked for that. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to
Give them a shout out.
I'm going to give them the chance to be thanked.
Sir, do you think the city's being transparent enough with the citizens?
I believe that the city could be a little bit more transparent, and not necessarily that the information isn't being shared, but I feel the information's being shared a little late for motion before the city, as Rhonda actually spoke about the Merge LLC incident. I feel like there could have been more brought to the light prior to, and a public forum had. That way we would have maybe lowered the level of people that were responding social media wise. That could have hurt us, and it was a hard thing for me to sit back and watch and not want to voice my concern on that. All I could tell people is contact your council member. This is not the place to do it. I feel like something could have happened better there, but when it comes down to it, if you attend the meetings, if you are aware, they are open to answer questions. Matt, Brooke, and Lisa, you can shoot them an email. Lisa's back to you within 20 minutes, and she will have whatever information you need. And if you come to the council meetings, they openly explain this stuff. You just have to be there and be involved to do it.
I have a little bit of a disagreement on some of that, in that we have the Clinton Herald, we have KOS, we have KCLN, we have the Lighthouse, we have council meetings that people are welcome to come to. And sometimes when you hear somebody complaining about something, I'll say, well, do you listen to our local radio stations? No. Do you get the Clinton Herald? No. You can't make people know what's going on. And I think that the council has been pretty transparent, but people have to read or listen to the things that they can get the information on.
All of those things are great. We need to revamp them to 2019 lifestyle. The Lighthouse is a quarterly thing. 3 months is a lot of time between something into the council. A lot of things can go in 3 months.
Should the city be more aggressive on social media, Sarah? They hired a company to handle social media.
Yes, I feel like not only should we be posting on Forge the positivity things, we should be posting the current proceedings that are happening. We need some sort of outlet for them to where it's reaching a younger group. We do have a lot of younger people in our community. Yes, we do have a lot of elderly also, but our younger community does not respond to KROS the same way. I do, but I think a lot of people need to be involved in it, and we need to find a way to bridge that between them.
Lynn, can the city use social media, other aspects? You mentioned some aspects there. They've hired the company to do some social media work. Should it be stepped up a little more, do you think? That's it. Social media is the buzzword today.
I know that Facebook and social media is probably the going thing, but I get real upset with all the things I see and hear on Facebook that is not necessarily true. Sometimes people only hurt other people by some of the things they say on Facebook. And sometimes they share things that are only hurting themselves. And I'm not a real big Facebook person, but besides that, by the time I look at my emails from work and my emails from the city, I don't have a lot of time to look on Facebook.
Business development, and one of the issues is workforce. Some people say the lack of workforce across the country is impacting business development and expansions. Is there something the city, do you think, can do to improve and increase the workforce?
I think we need to try and do everything we can to increase the workforce, because I think that's part of the reason we have so many abandoned homes. Is if people don't have a job, they're not going to stay here. They've needed to leave. If they can't make their payments, they leave. I think we're looking at maybe having 2 new companies out at the rail park, and I know a lot of people have worked really hard on getting that rail park to bring in more jobs and better paying jobs for people.
So what about workforce? What can the city do?
I believe that we need to work diligently, and I was very happy to see Mark Volich put out the option of writing a letter to the state regarding the Super 2 that was recommended by the Iowa DOT. I was really thankful to see that, because I feel a lot of that issue is going to be we need a bigger highway to bring that economy back into here. We're never going to get bigger plants other than the rail park, which is amazing that it's happening. I think that that's great renewable energy, but we're never going to get bigger things if we don't have proper transportation and streamways. We need that. At the same time, I do think that we're doing great with what we have been with bringing things. We have great incentives to bring companies here, along with the Thompson Prison. I don't know if anybody read the Clinton Herald today. They're expecting a big boom for the local communities. I think that's great. I think we should get some housing up available for them also.
So, say you're elected, then if you're elected, and at the end of that 4-year term, you look back, what do you want to, we use the term legacy, what do you want your term to be known for if you're elected to the council, Cyara?
I would like to be able to say that I was able to help bring the community back to the involvement of the city.
Lynn, if you look back, what do you want the legacy to be of your term on the council?
I would like to see more industry. I'm really hoping that we really do get more industry out at the rail park, because I think more people living here can do nothing but help the community grow, and then we can possibly have more shopping in this town. Shopping has really gotten hurt in this town, and I just think that more people with some better paying jobs can do nothing but help our town.
Let me get things wrapped up. Says, what we always give you a little open mic time. If you want to say something, you got a chance to say it. You want to say something, here's your chance. Lynn Mcgraw's open mic time.
Well, I don't want to just repeat myself, but I really get great satisfaction being on the council. I will work hard. I will work as hard as I've been working. I hardly ever missed a meeting, and I will continue to do that, and I would like to have your vote.
Cyara, open mic time.
I am eager to learn, eager to be involved, eager to be available to the community, and I think that with all the positive changes happening within our community so far, we need to keep that change going, and I would appreciate your vote on November 5th.
Well, we do have our second ward candidates, Lynn Mcgraw, Cyara Peterson, with us this morning. Again, Andre Ruby had some illnesses, could not make it into our program for this morning. So three names on the ballot at this point for that ward seat. Of course, earlier we had our at-large council members, fourth ward council members. Next Monday we'll have our mayoral candidates in the studio with us. Tomorrow, school board candidates.